So you have to tell me if you can see my screen.
Yes,
Can you
we
see
can
my
see.
screen? Yes, okay, fantastic. Well, welcome everybody. I am so excited that you're here. And I'm just going to make sure that I can click. Yes, I can. All right, that's going to work beautifully. So I'm so grateful that you're here. Obviously, I'm Catherine, and I know it is a very busy time of the year, this at this time, and so thank you. But what it's telling me is that you're really serious about yourself and learning about how to break patterns, and really wanting to. You're ready for something different. Am I right in saying that?
Correct.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, fantastic. All right. So, and this space really is for the woman who's just feels like that she's carrying the world on her shoulders. Tried hard, did a lot of personal development, possibly journaled, listened to podcasts, done the mindset work. That's something that I'd certainly done. Yet somehow still finding yourself falling back into the same cycles. And it's also, I've designed it also for for women who you're tired of the patterns and tired of overthinking. I know there's times when in my life when my head felt like it was going to explode because I was so cycling and cycling, and I was just constantly overthinking and worrying and making things so much bigger than what they were, but not knowing how to break out of that. And also, it's for the woman who's tired of feeling that she needs to shrink, or has felt misunderstood. Can you relate to this? Is everybody relating to this?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, because that was absolutely me, and I thought, people used to say to me, "Oh, Catherine, you're too much, or you're too emotional," or at times I felt like I wasn't enough, and it really there wasn't actually anything wrong with me. I was just living out of alignment. And I didn't really understand that. So this is why I've put together this tonight to sort of talk through why we're living and why we're experiencing these patterns and how we can actually break out of them. So tonight it changes all of that for you. We're going to actually go through the why, the why behind it. And there's no place for blame or judgment or fixing, but we're coming from a deep understanding and deep compassion and deep truth of why these things are happening. And then we'll sort of be moving into human design and how it's actually created, and uniquely your blueprint is actually created for you, and it helps you to how to respond, how to decide, how to feel, how to move, how to relate to things, how to lead in your life, and in alignment, so that everything suddenly that was confusing starts to make sense. So is that okay?
Cool.
Sounds good.
Fantastic. Okay, great, great, great. And really, I'm hoping by the end that you're actually going to really see yourself clearly, and possibly for the first time in maybe ever. That was my experience when I first understood my human design. But it's definitely my intention is that you finish by the time we finish this masterclass, you're feeling more connected, more grounded, and more at home with who you are, with a new level of emotional freedom and energetic clarity. And that clarity is a really big word here. So let's take a breath. We're going to breathe in and hold, and we're going to release. We're going to do that 3 times, and we're going to ground ourselves. I'm going to feel nice and relaxed. So taking in a deep breath in for 4 and hold, and exhale out for 8. And you can even make a noise if you want to. And breathing in and out. And one more time, in and out. How does that feel? You might want to actually put yourself on mute. That's fine. I think I can hear some noise in the background. That's fine if you want to put yourself on mute. Thank you. So, okay, hopefully that's feeling nice and relaxed. So I just for those who know me, this may be repeated, but those who don't know me, let me just make sure. Hang on, here we go. There we go. For those who don't know me, I'm Catherine, and I'm an intuitive human design coach. Oh, hang on, we've got somebody else coming in. Just one moment. Sorry, I'm really trying to work this mouse while I'm presenting. So there we go. Software moving here, and there we go. Okay. All right, there we go. Hello. All right. Okay. So going back to, okay, who am I? So I'm an intuitive human design coach and energy healer. That's what I call myself nowadays. I love helping women break free from society's expectations that, you know, the too much or the not enough or the everything in between. So you can finally reconnect with who you truly are underneath all the conditioning from society. And I spent many years in senior management roles. I was actually in very high level roles, leading and managing teams. And I always gave my company, my employer, my teams everything. I really gave absolutely everything for them. And after experiencing burnout as a general manager 2 years ago, I decided to take a different course, and I began a deeper journey into alignment, embodiment, and energetic truth. And my gosh, was that an eye-opener? Some people call it a spiritual awakening. It was quite brutal, but it was the best thing that could ever happen to me. And in that time, my eyes just opened. I became a certified light codes practitioner, which is also known as a light language energy healer. So my hands are actually quite powerful. It's quite amazing how the healing, it doesn't just extend to people. I actually have these abilities to heal and provide healing for animals and dogs in particular. So I've had some really amazing experiences recently with a few beautiful dogs too. So I feel quite blessed about that. I also became a certified life coach, a certified NLP practitioner. I went on to become certified in hypnotherapy, and that was all in 1 year. I then discovered human design, and that's when everything changed for me. I finally understood myself and stepped into my true aligned self. For the first time in my life, I completed my advanced practitioner in human design. And then recently I graduated in my Masters of Human Design, which I'm so proud of, and I learned so much about human design. So I have so much to share, which really, really excites me. So also the other thing that happened during this time actually was that my psychic abilities and my psychic medium abilities and my intuition really popped. So that's been an absolute blessing, because I've been able to help so many people with clarity and channel messages through from past loved ones, and that it's been quite amazing. And if you do end up having sessions with me, you'll see that people, spirits sort of come through. Like it's not so much that I open, they just channel through, because I'm channeling into your energy. They actually channel through, and I have some amazing messages and coming through from spirits as well, which is just so lovely. It really is quite it's very special. Actually, it's very special. I think a few already on the call have experienced that too. All right, and so then also I can't forget to mention my beautiful family. So Andrew, this is Andrew. Andrew, some people know Andrew. He is my greatest supporter. The reason I showed this photo with me and he's holding me is because we were at a photo shoot that day. And if you can see the rocks behind me, the photographer told me to go out onto the rocks. And then by the time we went out to the rocks, I think the tide was coming in. And so for me to jump down in this long white skirt, I was going to get wet. So Andrew takes off his shoes and socks and, wades out to the rocks, picks me up, and the photographer took the photo of me. And it's just so reflective of Andrew and his support. He's my number one supporter, and I'm very blessed, very blessed to have him in my life. And then I also have my beautiful family. So in the middle photo, it's my mother. The reason why I do a lot of this work, and Helen knows my mum very, very well for years and years. My mum is an incredible woman. I was raised in a family under her guidance where she taught me that I was enough, to believe in myself, that of course I can do it. If you believe you can do it, you can do it. She was the first person I ever heard who's to say that she loves herself. And, as a teenager, I used to go, oh my God, Mum loves herself, not understanding or having the maturity to understand that that's actually an amazing thing. but she taught us over time to really, and when I say us, my sister and I, to really love ourselves. And then I also pass that on to my kids. So speaking of my kids, on the left there is my daughter Danielle. She's a dancer. She's on one of the Princess Cruise Line ships at the moment in South America and traveling. This is her fourth contract on a ship. She's an amazing, incredible dancer, and she's going to be overseas until May. And I'm lucky enough to be going with my sister to Europe, meeting her on her ship end of March in Rome, and going on a 7-day cruise to see her perform on her ship and sort of meet up with her there, which is really amazing. Behind her, the very tall guy, is Mackenzie, who is her boyfriend. They've been together 5 years, and Mackenzie is the son of one of my very dear friends. So none of us saw this coming. And then, of course, there's Andrew behind me. There on the other side is Jason, my son. He's now 23. He's a great supporter of mine, and he's just living his best life at 23 years old. He was in, traveling this year traveling, and still finding his way, trying to get a job, but he'll get there. And he's just really enjoying life. And of course, the other, I can't forget my beautiful Leo, my fur baby. So whoever, he's everything. So if you follow me on socials, you'll see me posting. I don't post as much of him. He used to be on everything every day. I do post him about once or twice a week, but he's the favorite child. All right, so back to why we're here. And actually, speaking of Facebook and socials, I did want to mention that if I actually started a page on Facebook called the I Am Enough movement 6 years ago, because it was 6 years ago that I was sick of people telling me who I am as opposed to who I actually am. You're too much. Oh, you're so energetic. Oh, you change your mind all the time. Oh, you do a lot of things. You change jobs easily. Oh, what are you doing now? And I just had so many people I felt judge me, and actually sort of put me down for having a lot of energy and actually being quite excitable and actually having such a positive attitude. I still get people on LinkedIn who will say to me, they were, oh, I love your post, Miss Positivity, but you can tell there's like a bit of a passive aggressive, oh, Miss Positivity. Yeah, I'm pretty positive, sure. So I started this page, but I actually didn't understand at the time, honestly, that I would be doing this work now. I was back 6 years ago. I remember starting the page and parking it, and I did not do anything with that page until recently because I didn't have the confidence to actually come forward with this work. I was concerned. I was scared of being judged. It was all the conditioning. I was scared of being judged. I was scared of what people would think of me. I was scared that I'd look like a fool. I'd sound foolish. But I was really, really concerned about having so much attention on me. And yet, look at me now. I'm all over social media. Here we are talking today. And I've been on stage. And actually, I had been on stage as a general manager. Of course, I'd been on stage and I'd done 1,000 Zoom meetings and I'd done all of that. But I didn't. I didn't. Sorry, have I got somebody in the waiting room? No, sorry everyone, I just thought I had something here. No one's waiting. Okay, and I thought, I had done a lot of these presentations, but I didn't actually have the confidence to actually stand on my own, in my own true power. So, I think Spirit was preparing me for the future, so who knew? Now I do still experience that kind of behavior from people, but I really don't care. I no longer see it as a fault. I understand that myself so much better. I understand that what people say to me, it's because they actually don't understand. That's the biggest thing. They don't understand their energy. They don't actually understand. They think they're self-aware, but they're not self-aware. They don't realize, and they're judging because they've got their own sort of, I guess what we say, the classic, they've got their own hang-ups and they're sort of projecting on you. And I understand that now, so it doesn't actually bother me anymore. And actually, I'm just trying to help as many people as I can. So what to expect from today? We're going to talk about why patterns repeat, what your human design reveals about you, and how it's going to, about who you truly are, and then how that helps you break these patterns and these loops. And also how to shift into grounded and aligned emotional freedom. So I do have an activation at the end. So if you're watching the replay, please wait till the end, because, stay till the end. I do have a really powerful activation using my powerful energy hacks, which is going to bring you into alignment. So I'm really excited about that. And that's a core piece. So when we do these through the transformation programs that I work with my clients, not only are we working through the human design, but we're also working in with energy, clearing stuck energy and old energy patterns and moving energy. We're constantly moving energy because that's what you do with energy. You actually move it. And these hacks are really powerful in changing things really quickly. Whoops, hang on. Here I am, just as I think I know what I'm doing. There we go. Yes. Okay. So why do we repeat the same patterns even when we've done all the work? You know, we've done as we said, the journaling, we've listened to the podcast. You know, we're trying. We watch. You know, we watch positive, we have positive affirmation. You know, pages we're following on Instagram. I know I do. You know, I've actually been posting positive affirmations on LinkedIn and positive quotes for years. But still, you know, I was repeating the same pattern. So why is that still happening? And what do the patterns look like? So when you think about your patterns, they might show up as choosing the same types of relationships. You know, how many times do we say, oh my God, I just keep, you know, ending up with the same guy, the same type of guy, or my friendships, you know, my friendship groups, I've changed friendship groups, and there's still sort of the same mindset. Maybe even choosing the same kind of job. You know, you leave a job to go to another one, and then you sort of end up feeling, my God, I'm still in the same, it's just different job, different company, but same thing. Why we feel the same emotional reaction. So whether we get angry at things or we get really hurt by things, we'd find no matter how much work that we're doing on ourselves, these patterns repeat. You know, people have ways of hurting us, or we feel resentment towards people, or we find we judge people, or even resentment towards ourselves because we're feeling these emotions and not being able to break out of them. The other big thing that I see these patterns, and I'm sure that we all have experienced this, we fall into people pleasing, and it's very common with women where we're trying to be everything and be all, and also it's people pleasing is also part of or it's linked to low self-worth. And so when I look sometimes in human design charts, and I'm looking at people's people's charts and their centers, there's the ego center. When there's an undefined, and this does sound a little bit a bit confusing, but when you have a human design session with me, I explain this really clearly. And people with an open ego center, it's called the ego or heart or will center, they tend to overcommit because they're suffering from low self-worth and they're trying to people please. So that's another pattern that comes through. And the other one that's massive as well is looping in self-doubt. And self-doubt, really just not trusting ourselves. And why don't we trust ourselves? Because we have people making us second guess ourselves, I guess. We think the conditioning from society, conditioning from our families. How many times I remember for myself, I've got the most amazing family, and now they're even more amazing. But there were times when I would say, I would get intuitive thoughts and I'd just be ignored. Or at work, I'd say, look, my gut tells me to do this. I really think we should do this. And they don't, no. Oh, really? But why? That doesn't make sense. And so I'd start to doubt myself. Or thoughts would come in my mind, but then what I call the lower energies would be making me doubt myself. Like, really? Is that really? Is that really your thought? Like, is that an intuition? Are you sure? Or are you just making things up in your head? So do you see where this is going? And a lot of us do actually lose trust as a result. And the overthinking will absolutely make us not trust ourselves because we're second guessing ourselves all the time. So who are we relating to this? Is this all sort of sinking? Are you relating to this? Are we all sort of on par with what I'm saying here?
Yep.
I'm just going to check. I think I've got a chat. I just want to see what's here. Oh, yes. Beautiful. Thank you. Okay, great. Because I can't see the chat and that at the same time. All right. Excellent. All right. So what is the root of repeating patterns? What do they look like? Hang on. So again, lucky you can tell I'm really great. Here we go. Great with the technology. So what are the root causes of repeating patterns? Conditioning. So conditioning, how society's conditioning, how we're taught to be. Oh, you shouldn't do that. Oh, we always do this. You really should do that. You know, when we're born, we don't have any layers of conditioning. But over time, it's like we put layers and coats, if you can imagine, like a coat and then another coat and another coat. And that's what makes us and keeps us stuck and keeps us repeating and looping in these patterns. Emotional imprinting. Does anyone know what that is? No? It's where an emotion, a belief, or an energetic pattern becomes stored within our system. And it's often subconsciously, so we're not even aware of it. And it's based on a significant experience or relationship or repeated environment. So basically it just happens naturally and we don't even know, we react this particular way based on something that's happened to us. Also nervous system responses. These days there are nervous system coaches who help regulate, like they're called regulation coaches, who help us to regulate our nervous system. Most of us seem to be in such a fight or flight mode and living life in that way that, you know, your nervous system, the way it responds, it often responds from fear. So we don't move forward, we don't try something new, we don't break out of habits because it's bloody scary. And I'm scared, but what if it doesn't work out? But what if I don't, what if I get hurt? What if I get in trouble? What if I upset someone? So another reason why. And living out of alignment with your energy type, and I'm going to go through the energy types with you to help you understand about the energy types. But when you live out of your alignment with your energy type, so for me, I'm a manifesting generator, and the way to live in my flow is to respond to things and respond to opportunities. And so in other words, to wait, breathe, and not respond straight away. Well, I was always the person who responded straight away. I received an email at work and someone was a bit, where's that? And I would, excuse me, and write back an email. Or I would respond verbally if someone came to me or over the phone. I remember my greatest embarrassment. This was really embarrassing, guys. I had a whole team of people. It's the best example of living out of alignment. I had a whole team of people. I had all the teams in, and we had our sales coach is a good friend of mine. We're all on Zoom, and she's going through a workshop. And I'm talking, there's 30 people on this thing, maybe more. And I'm on mute, and one of my team calls me. I was in retirement living at that point. And she rang me and she said there was an issue with somebody. And she goes, I don't know why she's doing this, Katherine. And I actually grabbed my hand and I sort of like just knocked it on my laptop. And I said, it's because she's a control freak and she's trying to control everybody, right? When I said that, my hand went down, it took me off mute. And everybody heard me say, it's because she's a control freak and she's trying to control everybody. And I nearly died. So, I probably should have just gone, okay, can we talk about this a little bit later? That would have been probably the best response. And so, there's an example of living out of alignment, just basically bleh and saying it. Also making decisions from pressure instead of truth. Again, being pressured, feeling pressured to give an answer, give a response, making a decision. How many of us have been felt forced to make decisions there and then? Look, are we going to go there or not? Tell me yes or no. Do you want to buy this now? Like, do you want it? If you need it, it's on sale, and I've got to get it now. So you get this FOMO, and the next thing you know, you're saying yes when really you wanted to say no. So many like that. I've experienced that before too. So when we make these decisions too quickly, then we regret them. And the other one is in energetic entanglements with others. That's absorbing other people's energy. Have you been in places where you're feeling you feel okay, and then you walk into a room and the energy is so heavy, or it's quite emotional, and you come home and you say, my God, I just feel so emotional, or I feel so negative, or the environment's toxic, and you're taking that on, and you get home and you're by yourself or with your partner, and you go, oh my God, I've just got to release that energy. Well, I just feel so I feel I'm just feeling really heavy. That was really heavy energy in there. We actually can absorb. And when we go through human design with all of our open centers in that blueprint, that's a way we actually absorb other people's energy. So again, that takes us out of alignment if we don't know what to do. So that and that's basically a lot of that. So most of what you think is you actually is conditioning. It's really interesting to see that. So let me just make sure that I'm going to be able to click onto this one. Hang on, get back here. There we go. So we are conditioned to fit in. So you can see, like when we go to school, we have to behave in a certain way. We dress in the same uniform. We're asked to behave in a certain manner. Everyone goes. You think about every school year that you go to, like year 12. I mean, everybody. Well, we're learning that people and kids have different. Everyone has different ways of learning, but overall they're in year 12 in the same kind of curriculum, in the same learning sort of environment, the same curriculum, the same course, avatar scores. We're conditioned to fit in. And when you think about, like, in the work environment, there were many times when I didn't fit in, but I changed and adapted my behavior in order to fit in. And do you know, this one is a big one for me. A number of years ago, I was told in a corporate environment that I was too much, I was too loud, and my voice would raise too high when I got excited. But also when I became upset, because I have what's called an emotional wave that goes up and down. And so I can have these emotional highs and these emotional lows. So I was, of course, living out of alignment. And when I was in my emotional high or low, my voice would go up and down. Well, I was accused of bullying at one point because my voice, I remember responding to somebody, one of my team, and she said something happened, and I said, "Oh my God, why did you say that?" And I said it like that because I like that. And I got in trouble from HR, and they said, "You can't speak like that." And I'm like, "What do you mean? What do you mean? I'm Greek. What do you mean?" So I actually had hypnotherapy to calm my voice down and not enable my voice to go up higher when I'm upset. So if anyone, Leo, you've worked with me, anyone who knows me has worked with me, whenever I'm about to say something serious, whenever I'm about to have a serious conversation with someone, my voice lowers. And now it's natural because the hypnotherapy did that. But do you see how I conditioned myself to fit in? But what I really needed to do was just understand and be more in alignment. I'm thinking, oh my God, that's my emotional wave. I know to wait to respond. I'm not going to say anything. I'm going to wait. I'm going to breathe. And once I get back to you, and then I go back to her and speak to her when I'm calm and my voice is steady and I'm feeling calm. And so that's something that I've adopted throughout my life now, and I needed to know then. So there's an example of the emotional wave and the emotional and of feeling being out of alignment as opposed to in. But we are definitely conditioned to fit in. I needed to fit in, otherwise, who knows? I may have been accused of bullying and maybe kicked out. Who knows? But so understanding your energetic human design blueprint is what helps you to start working in alignment, because otherwise, without doing that, when you don't know it, you are running on your old programming. So with all of the self-awareness and the self-development, and we know what we need to do, our mind is trying to change, our intentions are trying to change, our goals are trying to change, but that deeper energetic pattern keeps looping. And that's where human design comes in. So what I just sort of spoke about living out of alignment, but this is interesting. Do you love this photo of me signs of living out of alignment? That's actually a bad photo of me. We're at my business coach's retreat, and Andrew was taking photos. It was a photo shoot, and I was trying to act like I was all, you know how you do that? You do those photos. It clearly didn't work. And I went, whoa, that's a fantastic photo for looking like I'm out of alignment. I look like I'm in pain. And I'm suffering. So here you go. But what does signs of living out of alignment? Drained energy, overwhelm, confusion, repeating cycles, overgiving, and not trusting your intuition. So yeah, when your energy doesn't match your design, everything feels harder. And it's not because you're doing something wrong, but because you're operating in a way you were never meant to. And it's not a flaw, it's a misalignment. So my case with at my work, they saw it as a flaw, that there's something wrong with me, and that it was something I needed to fix. But really, it was a misalignment. And so for most of our life, we're taught to override our natural way of being, aren't we? Push our body, when we probably needed to pause our bodies, to say yes when your intuition whispered or rather screamed, to say no, to be strong when we're exhausted, but we just keep going because no, we just got to keep going. And if you're a projector in human design and you keep going, you've got limited energy. So if you push yourself to keep going, you are going to reach burnout so fast and get so bitter because you're out of alignment. And also we've been told to stay quiet when we really wanted to speak our truth. And I think a lot of women in particular have experienced that, about staying quiet. And my generation, and Helen, I know I'm sure you would agree, we were told not to speak up. And, I had a situation recently where another coach had, beautiful, actually, an energy healer, she had reached out to me and there was something going on in her life. And she said, I think I should say something. And I said, good for you and well done speaking your truth, because in my day, when I was her age, I wouldn't have said anything. And that wouldn't have been the right thing. So, it's great to see the younger ones starting to try to come out of this. And the other interesting thing is that over time, that conditioning becomes so familiar that you actually forget your energy, and you even forget what your true energy feels like. It just becomes, you just stay in that drained, confused, overwhelmed state, stuck in your repeating patterns. You're feeling sensitive, you're feeling unwell, and you're just stuck in that. And, it actually becomes you're normal, that we think, well, that's just what life is and that's just how it is, I'm older now and it's just how it is, and it's not. You are just living out of alignment. So and the other thing the other thing that we often do as well when we're out of alignment is we overgive, and we try to we give more of ourselves, and we experience emotional overwhelm. And so emotional overwhelm, it doesn't mean that you're dramatic. It just means that you're absorbing other people's energy. So when you're feeling drained energy, doesn't mean you're weak. It means that you're using you're not using your energy the way you're supposed to use your energy. Feeling the other thing about the feeling too sensitive, we talked about it before, it means you've got these open centers and you're basically absorbing other people's energy. So again, there's nothing wrong with you. It's just that, you're out, it's basically, again, that your body is communicating that the way you've been taught to live does not match the way you were designed to live. And your body's reacting. And once we start to honor our human design, and I'm going to go through that now, that's when life feels like you're swimming upstream. So how are we going with that? Is that landing? Take that as a yes. Oh yeah, we've got a few. I'm just looking at the chat here. I've got split screens. Am I? Great. Yeah, Helen. Yep, I hear you, girlfriend, and we can work on that. But I hear you. I was very much out of alignment. Yeah. So yeah. Thanks for your honesty and your vulnerability. And it's the first step. It was the first step that I had, to make these changes. And I look at myself now. My beautiful brother, who used to tell me that I lived off nervous energy. And I love my brother so much. He's 8 years older than me and I absolutely adore him. I really, truly do. But growing up, he used to tell me I was, I lived on nervous energy. I was self-centered. Maybe I was. I don't know. Maybe I was. But he also, I was always too much, and quite nervy. Like I needed to calm down. And he actually rang me the other day and he said, I'm so, how proud he, which is so lovely. He's always telling me these kind of things and that he's really proud of me. But he said, you're so much calmer nowadays. It's so nice. So he doesn't mean, like, he means it in such a great way. But what he's trying to say to me is that I'm living in alignment, and they can see that doesn't matter what's thrown at me these days, I'm calmer. I can handle it. I don't react. I wait. And also then I'm also helping others stay calm and understand themselves. And, and that's what he was trying to say, which is so nice. So, all right, getting back to here, how I can help you understand yourself. So self-awareness is not enough. And we talked about this earlier as well, about self-awareness. You know what you're doing, right? I knew. I was me, overthinking, catastrophizing, giving too much of myself. To be honest, the list just goes on. Really scared to show up, scared to really be my true self. The list just goes on. I knew what I was doing, but I just didn't know what really and truly how to get out of it. Because I just kept thinking, honestly, I kept thinking something was wrong with me. And I'm difficult, and I have to. And the other thing that's the other thing I've been told, I'm too difficult, and no man would be with me. That was the other thing that people said to me. No man would be with you. And Andrew has been with me by my side for 4 years now. And you know what? Andrew loves me for who I am, and he actually loves this part about me that everybody used to resent. He loves about me, but I thought there was something wrong with me. So it's also so that we're talking about self-awareness lives in our mind. So that's what we know what we need to do, but the patterns actually live in our energy, in our body, and in our design. So that's why it's how we're truly designed to operate. We're not actually living in how we're truly designed to operate. So that's why self-awareness, knowing about the mind, we've got to get into our bodies. And you hear about breath work, you hear about, talk therapy no longer really helping. It helps to a certain extent, but you actually have to get into your body. When I do energy healing, we're healing and clearing energy. You've got it. What does breath work do? It releases energy. What does energy healing, light codes, light language, and Reiki is clearing energy. It's balancing energy. We've got to get into our bodies in order to move things on. So yeah, and that's it's just, again, I know I'm people pleasing. I know I'm choosing emotionally unavailable partners. I know I'm burning myself out. I know I'm overreacting or shutting down, but I'm still doing it. I don't know how to stop it. All right. So, and I talked about my emotional authority, and and that's one, and certainly one way that has really helped me understanding that. That was a light bulb moment for me, but we're going to go through that in a little bit. So the biggest challenge that most of us face is how to step into our authenticity and trust in our innate way of doing and being, right? That's our biggest challenge. 6 years ago when I started the I Am Enough page on Facebook, I was too scared to do that. I didn't want to step into my authenticity and trust my innate way of doing things and being, because I was scared I was going to be judged. And that is everybody's biggest challenge. It's really about just being yourself, really understanding yourself and trusting yourself, and also unlearning everything we've been taught. Because you think about, most of us grew up, we were shaped by expectations, roles, responsibilities that had nothing to do with our true design. And again, Helen, I keep going back to you, but you and I, we were raised in Greek families. And back then, we had to be a certain way, act a certain way, not embarrass the family, stick to the rules, stick to the guidelines, and we weren't able to really be ourselves. We learned how to be the good girl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Always.
Why
can't you be like her?
Why can't you be like her? Yep. Or my mum would say, mine was the opposite, because I was the good girl. It was, you're such a good girl and don't be like the other girls. So then I had the pressure not to be like the other girls who, you know what, they'll be living a bit of life.
Yeah.
And, you know, they meant well. They thought they were doing the right thing. Of course, they came from a place of love. But, you know, or at school, we were also, who was the age where they used to, like, the strap on the hand and, you know.
The ruler on the knuckles.
What's that?
The ruler on the knuckles.
The ruler. And we went to Greek school too. That was
Yeah.
even more, more abusive.
That was horrible.
Yeah. And then you get out of school and you get older. The hard worker, work hard, and, you know, buy your house and work hard and make money and work hard. The harder you work, the more you're successful you'll be. You know, be the high achiever. What about being the caretaker? You know, we're the caretaker of our children, of our parents. If we have a sick sibling, you know, the caretaker, or you're the one who always takes care of them. There's always one in every family. You know, the peacemaker. What about the peacemaker? My sister was the peacemaker, the poor girl. She was the middle child. She's the middle child. So she was always the peacemaker. And she said, you know, she said it was really hard because she always just had to keep the peace. Do you know that poor girl had to eat the food because I wouldn't eat. So mum would make her eat so that I would eat. And so, you know, and then she was always a little bit bigger, but not really, but she felt that she was because she was forced to eat more for me to eat. How bad is that? How wrong is that? But that was then what we used to do. She didn't feel that she won't mind me telling you this because she's sort of, you know, she openly says this, but she felt that she couldn't really speak up because I was always speaking up and my brother, the older one, was speaking up, so mum needed someone to be quieter, so she was quieter. So the peacemaker, she was the one and being the middle child who held everything together. So who else? We hold things together. We know who's that person in the family who holds everything together. So now, even as adults, we still carry all those patterns and we're still trying to operate through someone else's version of success, worth, or enough. And that's the biggest thing that does us harm. We're not actually living life for us. And, you know, when I speak to women, and I'm really speaking to so many more women now who are asking for my help, and I want so much to help, but I see, and they, like I used to as well, put everyone ahead of them, you know, before them. Like, oh, look, when my kids finish school, I might consider that. Not right now because, you know, my kids or my husband, or we've got to pay this bill, or, you know, and they're always putting off themselves and putting themselves first. For that, you know, because it's that conditioning, and it's that conditioning that I can't do that. That's selfish. As a woman, I can't do that. Why not? Aren't you worthy? Aren't you worth looking after yourself and feeling well and living in your aligned life and feeling free and happy, and, you know, raising your frequency and being happy in how you operate and in your life on a daily basis? Are you not worth that? But we're conditioned to say no, everyone else is put before us. So when we talk about stepping into authenticity, we're talking about something so much deeper. It's not just a mindset shift, it's a reclamation. It's returning to the way our energy is meant to move. It's trusting our body's cues instead of external pressure. It's honoring our pacing, our emotional process, our strategy, our authority, the things that make us uniquely us. So authentic, and that's authenticity in human design isn't performance, it's alignment. So that's what human design brings you back to your true authentic self. It takes away all of that conditioning, and it stops that. It's stopping the performance of who you think you needed to be. And no one performed more, I can say, than me. I reckon I was the biggest performer in my life. Always happy, always showing positive, always trying to hide who I was because I was concerned that if they actually knew the real me, who is this, by the way, I'd be too much for people. And you know what? I still am too much for some people. And that's okay, because that's on them. That's not on me. And that's okay. You know? And see the difference now? So yeah, it's and living from that conditioning space for so long, and trusting our innate way of operating feels unfamiliar. So how we're designed to be, it feels unfamiliar, and unfamiliar can feel unsafe. So that's why the journey back to authenticity takes courage, compassion, and clarity. And I reckon it's the 3 C's, but I have to say the courage word, courage, it does take courage. And I applaud you for being here to learning about this. And for my Lisette, who's one of my clients, applaud her for taking the courage and really, getting out of these, working on herself and getting out of these patterns, because it's unfamiliar, and she'll tell you a little bit about herself and what she's experienced. But that's exactly what human design gives you. It gives you a roadmap back to yourself. It's a clear, grounded, undeniable understanding of who you are, at your core, and not who you became through conditioning, and not who others expect you to be. It's the real you, the aligned you. So, and the emotionally free you, and that's what you're seeing today with me. It's my real, true aligned me. So what does authenticity mean? I can't even speak now. So do we know Brene Brown? She's a renowned researcher, storyteller, who spent over 20 years studying vulnerability, courage, shame, and empathy. I love her. I have read one of her books. And she's known for making complex emotional topics easy to understand. And she also helps people to live more wholeheartedly and authentically. And she says that authenticity is the daily practice of letting go of who we think we're supposed to be and embrace who we are. Which is exactly what we're doing with human design. So yeah, it's not, authenticity isn't becoming someone new, it's unbecoming everything that isn't you. So when we let go of who you think you're supposed to be, you create space for who you actually are. Your gifts, your intuition, your natural strengths, your human design, your soul-led expression. And that's where life starts to feel lighter. It feels easier and it feels aligned. So, and self-mastery, so we master it, that's where we get equals authenticity. You can't have 1 foot in your old life and 1 foot in your new life and expect change. So, when you make this decision, you go, you know what, I'm all in. And that's what happened to me when I first discovered my human design. It was actually, my first thing was I did something online, and it came out this long report with tiny writing. I didn't understand any of it. So I just went, I don't know what that was. But then it was actually my niece in America who was learning to read charts, and I said, can you read my chart? And when she did, and it opened my eyes to, actually, it was like a light bulb moment that went off, and I went, right. And she gave me some tips and tricks on what I need to do to live by my design. I said, right, I'm doing this. So for me to move forward, I couldn't still sort of live in my old life and then and have maybe, wait to respond but not listen to my intuition and, sort of part of my human design and not part of it. You've got to fully commit to your new life. And that's when the transformation starts. That's when the change happens. That's when you start to live this changed life, this new life, authentically you, where just suddenly everything starts to flow better. And people start to notice, they're like, I don't know what's going on, but you're better. You're definitely better. And the growth happens there as well, because growth does not happen when you're in between. That's for sure. And they say you need to get comfortable in being uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable at the start, but the way to become comfortable is to keep doing it, right? And because that's where the growth is. Nothing grows. What do they say? Nothing grows in the comfort zone. So it's the moment you decide, I'm done living with who I was, and I'm committing to who I'm here to be. That's when this all falls apart. That old identity falls apart. The people pleasing, the second guessing, the overthinking, the shrinking to fit. It means choosing alignment over approval, truth or comfort, your design over your conditioning. It really is time to make that choice. And because the moment that you choose all in, the universe, your energy and your human design all click into place, and the path forward becomes undeniable. And authenticity isn't a concept, it's a decision. And today you get to decide, do you want to go forward or do you want to stay in your old patterns? So also, why does conditioning matter? And look at this, I love this one, this photo here with Joey, when he walked in with all of those layers and layers and layers of clothes. I'm just grabbing this drink. Joey, you had layers and layers of clothes. Well, that really does signify what conditioning is like. When we're babies, we're not born with things. We're just this, we're not born with any of that. Like, we're quite happy. We don't judge. We don't have, we don't have any preconceived ideas. But over time, as we grow up, we start to get all of these, these layers and layers and layers of conditioning on us. So that's what's deconnecting us from our true design, and it does lead to burnout. So burnout, I always thought burnout was I'm working too hard. Burnout is not necessarily that you're working too hard. It's that when you're living out of alignment. When you say you're exhausted, why do you say you're exhausted? It's not because you did a 12-hour day. You're probably tired. But when you really think about exhaustion, for me, exhaustion was, it was, I'm so tired of fighting against things that, everything feeling so hard. I'm so tired from always having to explain myself why I want to do something. I'm so sick of people telling me, things about myself and criticizing me. I'm so tired from being judged. That's what burnout is. I'm so tired of going and just, it's never enough. I'm so tired of feeling I'm not enough. I'm so tired of everything I do is still not enough. That's what burnout is. When you're so sick of everything and exhausted from everything and working against who you are, that you're absolutely and totally exhausted. And feeling frustrated, obviously misaligned, as we said. So human design is the permission slip to be yourself, and returning to your design brings freedom and authenticity, and it certainly does. So what is human design? Okay, it's a modern system blending astrology, I Ching, Kabbalah, chakra system, and quantum physics. I had no idea what I Ching was. I sort of knew Kabbalah from Madonna. I certainly know astrology and quantum physics. I'm going, great, because that means it's science-based, fantastic. And I know the chakras because I've learned light language and I know the 7 chakras. I went, okay, right, so yeah. It's a combination of all of that, and it provides a unique energetic blueprint of how you are designed to live, work, and thrive. I can actually look, and I'm going to show you an example of a chart soon. I can look at a chart and I can actually see and read you even from that chart now. That's how I've been trained now to do. And that's through all of my my masters in particular that I've just completed. It offers clarity on your strengths, your challenges, and authentic alignment. So it's sometimes referred to as the modern day Myers-Briggs, like a personality test. But a personality test is more about where you are right now. So if I did my Myers-Briggs, which I did about 6 years ago, and I did it now, it'd probably come out a slightly different personality because I've changed. Whereas human design is based on your time of birth, your place of birth, and your date of birth. It's actually your design. It does not change depending on your personality or your mindset. Sorry, a change on your mindset or what's happening in your life today, right? It is set from the date that you're born. And it's like a user manual for your life. It's everything is in there. Everything is in there. Here, look at that. There it is. That's your blueprint. That's the energetic blueprint. It's an example. It's no one's in particular, but there it is. And so you see the colored centers, that's your defined centers. And the white ones are the open centers where we absorb energy from outside. So the body graph shows your energy type, how you're designed to interact with the world. It shows your strategy, so the best way for you to make decisions and navigate life, so that how to flow. So for me, it is to wait to respond. And we're going to go through a bit more in detail. Your authority, which is your inner guidance system for making choices. So we talk about trusting ourselves. When I actually teach my clients how to make aligned decisions, where you're actually asking your body and going with your design, so you can trust yourself that you've made the right decision, and you don't second guess your decision, because you followed the process of making the right aligned decision according to your design. Your profile, these are numbers, and so those who've had a look at a chart before, it's your life's themes and how you relate to others. It's how people see you, consciously see you, and then how people, how you see yourself. So there's that element of it. And then your centers, which I spoke about, the areas of consistent energies like chakras, but it's based on the chakra system, but they're actually 9 rather than 7. And it's areas of consistent energy, which is the colored. So we get that energy from within us. And then areas we're open to influence, which is the white or the clear spaces that are undefined. Now, if you have a lot of open, so I have the open, the top one, which is the open head center. I get a lot. This is why I am an overthinker, but I know now that it's overthinking, and I know what to do to control it, because I have an open head center. I get so many downloads and so many ideas on a daily basis. And being a manifesting generator, I get so many that my head just spins. And I could be telling at work, the poor guys at work, I'm telling them, we're going to do this. Oh, I'm just skipping and chopping and changing, and there's another idea coming through. And so I've had to learn to calm that and how to manage that and be aware of it. So again, it's about being aware and not thinking that there was something wrong with me. It's actually like, these are our superpowers. So we talked about the energy types. Now, this is when, if you ask someone, do you know your human design? They will say, yep, I'm a generator, I'm a manifesting generator. Yes, I'm a projector, I'm a manifestor, I'm a reflector. Most people have no idea even what that means. So I'll just go through that very quickly, but they are a generator is they're known as the energy powerhouses. They have consistent life force giving energy. So they're here to do work that they love, and work lights them up from the inside out. So they're defined by that sacral energy, which is, this is the sacral here. So if we actually look back here, that's open. So that's not a generator, but if that was a color, it would be a defined sacral, and manifesting generators have that too. So a generator is someone who has lots and lots and lots of consistent energy. And they still do get tired, and they do need a bit of a rest, but there's someone who has lots of energy. They get very excited in when they're in their joy. That sacral energy center lights up, and they're lit up, they're energized, they're deeply engaged, they're loving what they're doing, they're feeling fantastic, and they're full of energy. When they're misaligned, they feel frustrated, drained, or stuck doing things out of obligation. So they're not happy. So many generators repeat patterns of burnout because they've been taught to push and initiate and give too much, because they have so much energy to give, and they don't know when to stop. So again, the strategy for a generator is to wait to respond, as I spoke about before with the manifesting generator, has the same strategy. You wait. Because we go, we actually wait before we respond, to make sure that we're responding to the right thing, and we're not saying something quickly, doing anything that we'll regret, committing to things that we'll regret. And manifesting generators are the same. So manifesting generators, and I go through all of this in detail with you during a reading. If you go into a coaching program with me, we're always going back to your design and talking about how this is showing up in your life, and and where you're in alignment, where you're out of alignment. But the energy type, we're constantly talking about what your energy is and how it works. But a manifesting generator is me, and I'm a multi-passionate trailblazer. So I love to do lots and lots and lots and lots of different things, lots of variety of things. I move fast. We're known as time benders. We skip timelines. We're known to go skip steps to get to there. I'm very well known to do that. I will just go, this is boring, let's keep moving because I want to get there. Manifesting generators start lots and lots and lots of different things and don't necessarily finish them. I thought that was a flaw. It's actually, that's right, because they say, right, you'll try this, it doesn't work, we'll try that, doesn't work, try that, that works, we'll keep going with that one. Okay, yep, let's go with that one. That one's not working, that one's not working. Oh, more ideas, more coming in. So we're designed to multitask. We'll do lots of different things, different varieties. And I'm sure there's people coming up in your mind right now going, I know a lot of people like that. So manifesting generators, that's why it is imperative that we wait to respond, so that we live in alignment with our design, and we don't commit to things, say things we shouldn't say, do things that we shouldn't do, make the wrong decisions, and make comments that possibly we would have made a different comment had we had the time to just think about it first before we responded. So we talk about a lot of that and how that works. But we're very, very excitable, as you can see. And a projector, they're our wise guides. I've got many friends who are projectors, and I just adore them. They're here to lead energy, not use energy. They are wise. They see very deeply into people. They understand systems and guide others with precision and insight. Their gift is their perspective, not their output. So a projector has a lot of advice to give you. And so they tend to they have limited energy, so their energy doesn't go all day. They literally work in bursts of energy, and then they need rest. So a projector doesn't go all day like the other. They don't have consistent source of energy, and the way that, because they are these wise guys, they have a lot of advice, and they see deeply into people. In order for them to, because they want to tell everybody what they should do, and they want to tell them, how they should be, and I know what's best for you, and they can tend to give that advice when it's unwarranted. So the way for a projector to live an aligned life is to wait for the invitation, wait for someone to ask them about something, and then they will happily tell them, and that keeps them in alignment, keeps them happy, feeling successful, and not bitter. Because they're just beautiful. They're really wise. So my projector friends have got. I love listening to them, but only when I've asked them for that advice. When I don't want it, it's a bit, it can be a bit challenging. A manifestor, this is Lisette, and she's going to talk a little bit about herself. But a manifestor is here to initiate. My daughter is a manifestor. They are amazing. They're 9% of the population. They're here to lead movements, initiate action, spark change. They are big picture thinkers. They're here to go. They don't ask for permission. They don't wait for the invitation. They don't wait to respond. They initiate and they go. And the way for them to live in a aligned life is to inform others of what they're doing, so that they keep people on their side, and they don't experience resistance from people. So this is something that I've taught my daughter as well. So, she was always the type with her dancing, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. And I think, what? It would affect me. I'd have to drop her off. I'd have to pick her up. I'd have to pay for it. And I'm like, what's going on? And she'd go, oh, Mum. And she'd get angry with me and get because I was resisting her, and then she'd resent me. But if she actually said, Mum, I love dancing, this is what I do, and I know it's hard for you to drive me to dancing every day, and I know it's expensive, and I appreciate everything you do, but this is my passion, and I'm really good at it, and I really want to continue, and it's really important for me, I would have just gone, okay. See the difference? We're going to hear from Lisette very quickly as well. So I'm just flying through these. And a reflector, it's 1% of the population. So chances of us having a reflector here, we do have one actually. She's going to watch the replay. But they're amazing as well. They're rare and deeply intuitive, and they're here to experience life. They have all open centers. They absorb energy from everyone, and because they absorb energy from everyone, in order for them to make a decision, they actually need to wait for 28 days, a lunar cycle, to make a big life decision, because they're going to absorb energy from everybody. And so I teach that as well for reflectors, of how to make their best decisions, so that they live in an aligned life. And then, so the strategy, we talked about that. It's about waiting to respond for manifesting generators and generators. It's about for the manifestors, it's informing. For the projectors, it's waiting for the invitation. For the reflectors, it's that 28-day cycle. So I teach that as well, how to live in that, so that and how to live in alignment, so that you're and working with your strategy, so that you live in an aligned life, and you work in your life flows. And then your authority is your decision making. I mentioned about it, an emotional authority. There's different types of authorities, but this teaches you how to make aligned decisions. So I have the emotional authority. So the wave goes up and down. So I know that I need to wait till my emotional wave neutralizes to make a decision. It could be a few minutes, it could be a few hours, or it could be tomorrow. or it could be next week. So when I need to make a big decision, I know now to wait, to ride my emotional wave. And those who know me know that I walk a lot. The reason I walk and move my body is because when I'm in an emotional high or low, energy and moving my body helps it. So these are the things, again, that I teach. See, we don't know this about ourselves. And we just think, oh, I learned like this. You can see now, or I hope you can see how talk therapy, just going and talking and reading a book, and a self-help book and mindset book, you go, okay, I know what I need to do, but it's still not landing. It's because your body, you've got to be in alignment with your body. Your body will help you live that peaceful and aligned life. So for me, I need to move. There are other authorities which I won't go through too much detail, but there's the other authority types are there's the sacral authority, which is in our sacral chakra, so our like we say, it's the gut. So it's just below our belly button, and we'll say yes or no. It will tell us an aha or an that's a sacral authority that will really, a lot of people have that. Others have a splenic authority. It's our intuition. It speaks quietly in the present moment. So for someone who has a splenic authority, they make decisions like that. Their intuition will tell them immediately. They'll know what to do. And we always say with your intuition, don't question it. You know what to do. Then there's the heart, the ego authority, it comes from desire and willpower. So you'll genuinely want to do it. It's not what you think you should do. You'll know you'll want to do it. So if you have that kind of authority, a self-projected authority, you need to talk it out and speak out loud. I've got a few projector friends who are self-projected, so they just need to speak it out. It's not emotional or logic or whatever. It's just basically you need to speak it out, and you actually come to your decision. And mental authority is you make whoops, that's the cat behind me, he's going crazy. You make aligned choices by talking things through in the right environment. So you need the right person to be talking to. And then we spoke about the lunar with the 28 days, but we go through that. So we work out what your chart is, what your energy is, type is, what your authority, your strategy, how to flow, and how for you to make best decisions based on your design. And I teach that and provide that best way for you to live, to make those decisions. And then, so what are the signs of alignment? Woo! That was me on the weekend at my friend's wedding. But I love that because there I am in full alignment. Increased confidence, better outcomes, reduced stress, improved relationships, resistance to conditioning, life purpose, alignment, knowing your life purpose. Like feeling confident within yourself, trusting that you're making the right decisions, not caring what other people are thinking of you because you know who you are, and you understand that they're just saying things to you because they're conditioned to say it, but you've moved beyond conditioning because you understand that it's conditioning. So yeah, I love that. Now, okay, so what the clients say, look, I have two amazing clients. Michelle is not on tonight, but it's absolutely, working with her has changed her life. I've been working with her. We're in the 12 weeks now. She's just really finishing her 12-week transformation program with me. But when Michelle came to me, she was really struggling with her life. She was getting out of really bad relationships. She won't mind me saying this. I think she's a lot in here. She was getting out of a bad relationship. She's a manifesting generator like me, so always told you too much. And she has learnt to to wait to respond, to not react. She has an emotional wave. We talk about the emotional wave being neutral, trusting her gut, and it has absolutely transformed her life. And you can see if you've read her here. I've also I provide in my 12-week transformation program energy hacks. So it's a 3-day-a-week WhatsApp support that pretty much every day. I must admit I'm pretty much every day, but I say it's 3 days. I provide 3 energy hacks a week about shifting energy. So when she was going through that transformation, as well as a bit of a yucky time in her life as she was moving through that breakup and going through and coming out of that, she would ask me for particular energy hacks, sometimes just for energy, sometimes sometimes we want like energy protection or, and some other things that she needed. And I provide those energy hacks that day, and it would just make an amazing difference. Another time, just to help her with work, she said she works in aged care, and she sent me a message and said, oh, I've come to work on Monday, and as in typical in aged care, because I've worked in aged care, so there were four that had four what we call RIPs. So obviously the in aged care people pass on, and that had four over the weekend, and she there was sort of pressure. She had trying to find the right residents to fill those beds and provide that opportunity for people, and she's like, I need to find the right people that are going to benefit from here. Can you provide me an energy hack? And I did, and her phone started ringing, and she had filled that bed within half an hour of that energy hack. And that was just, she'd sent it at 9 in the morning, and by 10 she had the energy hack, and 10:30 she had the first bed filled with a beautiful resident who was going to fit in perfectly in that home. They're examples of the energy hack. And then we have beautiful Lisette. And Lisette, I might just let me see. I just want to stop sharing my screen. This is going to be really might testing me here. Hang on, here we go. Just going to stop sharing for a sec. Okay. And Lisette, if you'd like to come on, I'd love for you to share. There she is. So Lisette, thanks so much for coming on, and you've waited so long. I appreciate it so much. I'm mindful of time. What was life before for you, before we met and you discovered your human design?
So first of all, I met Katherine in, I think it was September. I was doing a breathwork facilitation course with another beautiful person. And she had invited Katherine to her workshop to have a presentation for all of us and give us our human design charts, basically. But the second Katherine walked through the door, I instantly just, I don't know, just seeing her there, I just felt different. And I felt really curious to find out more about her. But also, she looked at me and she's like, you are the manifester. So she already knew who I was by just looking at me. We had never met before. She wouldn't have a clue who I was. And but anyway, before I met her, I was very misunderstood. I always have been very misunderstood. With family, I've been too much. I've been very similar to Katherine, I would say. In the family, I took a lot of space. Sorry, I'm Swedish, so forgive me if I say the wrong things. I took a lot of attention and space, and I louder, laugh loud, show a lot of emotions, and but all with like good intention, basically, but can be misunderstood. I have also, I also tend to get angry when, and now I've learned it's when I'm not in alignment, basically.
Yeah,
And
it's a classic manifestor. When they're not in alignment, they're angry. And my daughter the
yeah,
same. And I explained to Lisette, this is actually normal.
yeah. So like that, I think that was the biggest thing. When I saw my chart, I felt like for the first time in my entire life, someone actually saw me for who I was and that I wasn't crazy, if that makes sense. I was actually, it's like, it's in my design to be the way I am. And if I would have understood this much earlier, my life would have been so much easier. Um, when I get hurt, I get angry. When I get sad, I get angry. When I get stressed, I get angry. So anytime I'm not in alignment, I get angry. And it annoys, mainly my family. I mean, I can I can behave. Like this usually affects the people that I love the most, obviously, my husband and my mom. It's not like I go out and treat my colleagues and I'm angry, it's more only the people. I'm sure everyone can relate to this. You're only angry with the people you love. But I wish so many times that I would maybe not be angry
Yeah.
when I'm stressed. But that's just who I am. And it was just like a testament that I'm not crazy. I don't have ADHD. It's not like a diagnosis where I'm different. I'm literally just me. And the way to help me with this is basically to learn this, understand this, see this, and I don't know, just having that understanding calms me down in a way. It's just like, you know what? I don't need to be angry. Let's just find peace instead, because that's what I feel like when I'm in alignment. I feel peace. I feel peaceful. And since moving to Australia, because that was about 1.5 years ago, I feel more and more at peace. I feel like I fit in here better than I ever did in Sweden. In Sweden, we're very, yeah, what's it called? we definitely live like by the rules and how we're told to live, and it's very strict and cold. And if you believe in Reiki, you're absolute, yeah, you're very strange. Or if you believe in energy healing, like I remember I tried some energy healing in Sweden, and like you could not speak about that loudly. uh, so I definitely feel closer to myself coming here. But then when I met Katherine, I just felt like I need to work with her, because if she if she can in 1 minute make me feel like this, what can she do in 12 weeks?
Yeah, and you've come so far. Honestly, I just love Lisette the minute I met her, but I could see that she was completely misunderstood. And and I think it does help, obviously, having a daughter who's a manifester. But I looked at her and I said, I understand you. I don't think anyone else does, but I do. And I remember, and I've seen how far you've gone. How I'm so proud of you. How much you've applied in your day to day to keep this keep working through your transformation. So, how would you describe your transformation? What's your greatest takeaway since for that working this time together?
I just feel more at peace. Like that's probably the word for it. I feel supported not only by Katherine, but by these energy hacks. I just feel support from spirit, from, things that you don't really talk about loud. It's like Katherine says, like you wouldn't go out to your colleagues and be like, "Oh, the spirits are supporting me today." But but that's like truly
Because they
how I
are.
feel inside. They are. But like, yeah, especially for me, I wouldn't be able to say that aloud. So when you send this video out,
Yeah.
I'm screwed.
She's really,
Anyway,
she really is saying, everyone. No,
I'm
but
sorry.
that's the truth. That these energy hacks. That's what we do. It's the spirits
I,
and like
I actually feel I do them every time. I do one specifically where I have a bit of a difficult colleague at work, and I do it every day in the car before I walk in. And in the car on the way, I feel so anxious. I feel like, oh my God, this day I hate it. And then I do this energy hack, and it's instantly a shift in my energy level. And I'm like, yeah, no matter what, I can face this. And I'm like more positive, confident. And yeah, it lifts you up immediately, these energy hacks.
Yeah, yeah, I see how it does. And the other thing that we do, and with Lisette as well, and the other clients is, I have it's my the magic of the intuition. So sometimes situations happen, and the messages will like the clients will send me a message and go, "Oh, Katherine, this is happening, and what do you get?" And I'm like, "Oh no, it's nothing. Don't worry about it." And just
Yeah.
they just can't and then they ring. I get a message about an hour later, and they're like, "You're right. It was nothing." I'm like, "I don't worry about it," And so I can feel when something is concerning, and if it is, I'm gonna go. You need an
Yeah.
energy hack, or if not, if it just don't
And
worry, ride it through.
there was one day where you actually approached me like the spirits are saying to give this to you now, and she messaged it and I said it. And I think it was at the same time as we had a chat in the evening, and Katherine said to me, because it was about this specific person at work, and she said, "Listen, you will have some kind of explosion, like verbal explosion at this person, and after that it will change." And I'm like, yeah, whatever, that's never
Yeah.
gonna happen because that won't happen at work. The day after, it happened, and this person changed. So it just like it's funny and amazing at the same time. Like
Yeah, yeah. That was a
like if there's something Katherine, she will feel if it's serious and she needs to like approach me, even if I don't reach out to her, she will be like, "Lisette, do this," or
yeah.
"I
Or I
feel you
just
need this
thinking of
right now."
you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely will. I definitely do, and I have with you where I've just gone. This has been in my head nonstop for an hour. I just need to say this to you. You've got a message. So things like
Mm,
that happen too, and it was quite it was relevant at the time. I do
yeah.
remember that. Yeah,
But also you asked what's, been a big change. And I think also having these sessions every second Tuesday with you, where we don't only speak about the human design, it's part of it, the whole package, so to say. But my um we think it's my mom's granddad always comes through and says, gives me messages, and he's got a really strong presence, and he wants me to keep doing what I'm doing. I'm doing this breath work on the side. I'm going to do a Reiki course at the end of January and stuff. And it's really against my Swedish family norms, you know, what I said before. So he keeps pushing me. And it's really nice to get that, you know, family that I have no idea. I don't know him, but clearly I can just feel that he's there for me. And it's quite amazing.
Well,
And also my
actually,
dad's mom has shown up a lot of times.
yeah, and your husband's
Yeah,
mum as well. She's had, but what? Remember the first time we met, that I saw movement outside, and
yeah.
it was her
And it was
grandfather.
him, yeah. So it's just quite amazing how
Yeah,
you just get so much more from Katherine than you would from someone that's not intuitive as well, because you get that extra layer of, you know, yeah.
yeah, yeah.
It's
I definitely that's and that's why I call myself the intuitive human design coach, because it is it. I can't help it when I'm reading someone's chart, and it's not just a chart, because we're doing coaching. So yes, you can have a one-on-one session with me, and I can read your chart, and you really, to get into really understand your human design, you probably need three of those. Or you do, like as Lisette's done, a 12-week transformation program with me, where it's coaching. So it's human design, it's clarity. I do intuitive clarity reading in there as well. I'm constantly picking up on energies. I'm picking up if there's past loved ones who come through. There's messages constantly from spirit. I use my spirit optimizer. This is the ancient truth, and I ask this one, you know, when we're trying to get understand a situation, I ask the spirit optimizer the ancient truth. What is the truth? What do we need to know? What does spirit want to tell us? I have,
and you asked that thing, the pen, yeah, I don't know what it's
every,
called.
sometimes I bring out this baby. Has anyone ever
And
worked with a pendulum?
it was crazy because she showed me yes and no, and it actually did that thing. And she asked questions we knew were false, and it like showed us the right answer all the time. It was so cool.
I find the pendulum fun. Like, I find it very fun. You know,
It's
I know and what I do is I don't look at it, because I don't want my energy to be to be influencing it. So I'm not looking at it. I'm looking away. I'm asking questions. I'm looking up. I'm looking down. I'm not looking at it. And this thing is swinging yes or no. It's really quite amazing. But I
it
already
was
know.
really cool.
We
Yeah.
pretty much know the answer. The reason sometimes I do this is just to show the client. I know that it's a yes or no intuitively, but I just to show the client that, so the pendulum is saying sometimes that's a yes or no as well. Yeah, so we'll do that. And hey, and I also use angel cards every now and then too. I just get extra messages through there. Yeah, there's lots of things in the 12 weeks that we have a lot of fun.
Yeah.
That's for sure. And the angels
Basically,
love.
whatever I feel at the time, we will deal with, and then she will support me. And then usually I have another question after those 2 weeks, and we'll deal with that issue. But one thing that I really appreciate is Catherine's basically done my whole family's charts in the sessions, included in this, and she's been able to, you know, tell me about my mom, why we're clashing, and what she's a projector, and that kind of explain why she is the way she is and annoys the crap out of me at times, although I love her so much. But it kind of just explains it, and it's nice for me, and I can kind of take a step back when these things happen that annoy me and be like, actually, that's not your fault, Mom. It's because you're designed this way. Um, but
And
also she's
their
seen
conversations.
my
Yes.
husband Glenn, and they had a separate meeting as well, and she could talk to him about how I am and why I am the way I am, vice versa. And it's actually more beneficial than any kind of couples therapy would ever be, because this is actually how we're designed. We're not talking through trauma. So like, oh, why did you say this? Or why did you say it's actually like, well, I think it's factual.
Oh, definitely. And and yes, and of course, when I'm speaking about, like, from one spouse to the other, it's about understanding each other and working in how to work with each other. So it's working in alignment with each other. And once you understand, and it's not about picking faults. It's actually about understanding each other's superpowers and how best to get the best out of each other. That's the other thing,
Yeah.
and I even see it with my relationship with Andrew too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
thank
I
you,
said to
Lisette.
Catherine last time, like, I think it was, she asked, oh, how you been going? Have you had a fight? And I had to really think hard. I'm like, actually, I don't think we've had a fight for like 4 weeks. And we never have any serious fight, but it's a lot of, nagging and stuff. Did you respond in that way or that way? And it just hasn't happened because he knows how I am and I know how is, and that kind of just helps.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
been really good.
Yeah, and oh my gosh, it just warms my heart, I have to say. Thank you so much, Lisa. I really appreciate you coming on.
No worries.
And I am mindful of the time. Do we have any questions? We're sort of at the questions and answers. Does anybody have any questions? No, I'm just going to share my screen quickly, and we're up to the last one because I want to do the activation before we go. We finish up. So let me just share this again, and this the next one. Thank you so much, Lisette. So obviously, when you return to your design, you return to yourself, and that's where everything shifts, as we saw with Lisette. Love this, questions and answers. All right. So are we ready for an alignment reset activation? I hope that's a yes. There we go. I can see you all. Okay. So it's literally 5 minutes, and then we're going to finish. But this is such an important part because I really want everyone. I am reading a script. This is not in my head. I wish it was in my head. That would be really easier. But I'm reading a script that I've come up with. All right. So are we ready? If we just going to take a deep breath in and out. This is an example of some of the energy work that we do, and breathing in and out. One more. And out. And placing your hand on your heart. Spirit, activate light from source at my heart, mind, and body level at 100. Breathe and let the current begin to flow. Force field, activate SO grid, merge with harmonizer, merge with creator, merge with ancient truth. And now, tune to the truth of your design. Repeat in your head after me. I call my human design template into alignment now. Gate by gate, center by center, channel by channel, the original code that my soul chose for this earth walk. Activate it now. Force field, calibrate to my authority, calibrate to my strategy, calibrate to my energetic blueprint at level 100. Let the system lock in. Feel the sacred hum. Feel your intuition speak. Feel your inner authority becoming the only signal that matters. Because your design was not made to please. It was made to lead in truth. Now speak to your soul. Hey soul, what does it feel like to live fully as the design I chose? Pause. Listen. Feel the yes. Spirit, override all external programming that misaligned me from my true code. Body, generate the destructive frequency that dissolves inherited conditioning now. You might feel the need to breathe, shake, yawn, or even move it a little bit. It's starting to move some energy. Doesn't that feel good? Isn't it beautiful that the exact cosmic signature you were born into is perfect? Isn't it powerful that when you follow your design, the universe bends to your frequency? Say in your mind after me, I trust my design. I trust my inner authority. I move as I was made to move. Feel the intelligence of your chart activate like a constellation. Your channels are highways of cosmic data. Your type is not a limitation, it's a precision tool of divine navigation. Say, Spirit, lock in my alignment, lock in my joy, lock in my natural, effortless flow. Take one last breath, breathing in clarity And breathe out resistance. You are aligned. You are encoded. You are the reset the world's been waiting for. Let's go. And coming back into the room. How's that? Got that activation? Do you feel that? If you start to feel a bit of yawning, it'll start to go a bit of moving that around. And we're right just on time, a few minutes over. But this is when everything starts to shift. So what's the next step? The next step is, if you would like if you want support in understanding your energy type and strategy and authority, if you want to break lifelong patterns at the root, if you're feeling the pull, trust it. This is your body saying that I'm ready to come home. You can book if you like. I'm going to send through a link to book a discovery call, and then we can have a bit of a chat about how we can work on breaking those patterns and help working together. If it's a 12-week transformation, if it's some of the human design chart sort of sessions to really understand your human design. We'll have a chat and we can work out what's best for you. So you're going to receive an email with the booking the discovery call link. And please just book that in and we can have more of a chat. Of course, you can DM me any messages or any questions that you may have. But I thank you so much for taking your time on a Tuesday night and for 1.5 hours to be listening to me. And I hope that this has been valuable. Has it been valuable? What have you, anyone want to say anything, any feedback at all? Thank you, Lisette. I appreciate it.
Thank you. You're always valuable.
Wonderful. Well, thank you. It is late. Thank you for choosing alignment, and thank you for choosing you. It's you should be very proud of yourselves for choosing you. Thank you again. Have a wonderful night. And for everybody on the replay, you'll receive an email with or send me a message to book a discovery call. But thank you so much. It's been such an honor, and I hope it's been a valuable experience. So
Thank
good
you,
night.
Katherine.
Good
Thank
night,
you.
everyone.
Thanks.
Good night. See ya.
Good
Bye.
night.